Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video on Smallville. Today we've got an update that we need to break down in regards to the Smallville sequel because Tom Welling has had some more to say. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. Okay, so this article was published early in November, but I've been meaning to talk about it since then, but Superman and Lois has just been so crazy with the final season that I literally had no time for any other type of content in the meantime. So now Superman and Lois is done, I'm finally getting around to talking about the Smallville sequel because we got a new update from Tom Welling, and this article was on Screen Rant. You can read it by clicking the top link in the description below. This is written by my good friend Andy, and he was able to get the scoop on what is going on with the show right now. And so just a little context to start the video. Obviously we've heard about the Smallville animated sequel series for a while now, and according to this article, Tom Welling clarifies what is going on with the potential revival. And while the Smallville ending took place more than 13 years ago, the beloved Clark Kent focused drama could be making its comeback, as Welling and his co-star Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor, have been developing a pitch for an animated continuation. This is obviously what Andy is writing in his article, and he goes on to say, even though this has raised excitement in the fandom, the Smallville sequel has not been formally greenlit, and it appears the massive holdup goes back to one of Hollywood's biggest studios. So Screen Rant recently had the chance to speak with Welling during Comic-Con Stockholm as he looked back on his Smallville journey while also highlighting the Talkville podcast and the upcoming Cruiseville event coming in 2025. So Tom Welling opened up on what is going on with the proposed animated series. So this is what he had to say. We want it to work. The honest answer is we have not been able to get Warner Brothers to give us the thumbs up. We need their permission. Then Welling was asked if this means that Warner Brothers Discovery is not open to revisiting Smallville, or if it's about them not having responded to him and Rosenbaum's pitch. Smallville lead made it clear that they haven't received a reply yet, as he shared his theories, and he goes on to say this: we haven't even gotten a response. It's the weirdest thing because it is more of a fan-driven idea. It's not going to be a blockbuster. It's not going to be a financial windfall for any of us. We all like each other. We all like working together. And if we could do it, it'd be fun. But Warner Brothers, and I'm not hating on them, they just haven't gotten back to us. It's not a priority for them. It's not like a returning phone calls thing. So there you have it. That is the update in regards to what is going on with this show right now. As far back as I remember Michael Rosenbaum talking about they had a pitch ready, they had some sketches, some drawings, some concept art ready for this animated show to pitch it to Warner Brothers when the time is right, and it seems they have sent the pitch. I don't know if they've had like a meeting in real life. The way that I'm reading things is that I'm pretty sure they've sent maybe a pitch to them and it's an email, and potentially just haven't literally got back to them. And so that's why they're stuck in this situation where they've got all this together and they really want to do it, and they've sent an idea to Warner Brothers or whoever specifically is in charge of, you know, making this type of show a reality. So I wouldn't say it's the best sign that they haven't said anything yet, but at the same time, at least no response is not a bad response, I guess. But we all know that Warner Brothers is very busy right now, and DC is quite stacked. Obviously they're making the DCU, we've got the Batman films, and you know, the Penguin just came out, and we got other projects that they're working on. So I don't think it's their main priority right now, but when they get around to it, I really do hope that they accept that this is actually a really good idea and this could reignite the Smallville fandom. And I also would like this to set a precedent for the return of, say, some Arrowverse shows in animated form, potentially later down the line. Now, I'm not saying straight away because the Arrowverse just ended, and obviously for Smallville it's been way longer, so the fans are really itching to get back, especially with Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum just so open about how badly they want to do this, and the fact that they've, you know, created a podcast. They always talk about it. They go to so many Comic-Con conventions around the world where they continue to talk about Smallville to fans. I feel like there is a real desire right now to have more Smallville content in the near future, and so I hope Warner Brothers actually realizes this could be a good thing. And the next question was in regards to the suggestion that Michael Rosenbaum should contact his good friend James Gunn about the Smallville revival, and Tom Welling says, "I know, we joked about it." Michael says, "Oh, James is so busy. I think it would be a fun idea. We already have the animation done. I don't know if Michael shared it already, but we have a poster for it. It's with the cast and Luthor looming behind them." So obviously going through James Gunn would be the logical way that things would progress, because he's in charge of all things DC, and at the end of the day, Smallville is DC, so they would have to go through James, or maybe James would have to give the thumbs up eventually. I don't know who you go through at first, but I get the impression that they haven't gone through him yet, and they've gone through kind of just like the Warner Brothers angle rather than the DC Studios angle, but maybe they get better luck if they go straight to James himself. And in regards to the animation, he says, "We already have the animation done." I don't know if Michael shared it already, but we have a poster for it. So we have talked about the poster in a previous video, the fact that they do have a poster ready, and that is with the cast and Luthor looming behind them. So that is something that obviously we would love to see, but I think they will hold on to that and they won't release that until we get some sort of a positive update in regards to this show. But my question is to do with the animation. When he says we already have the animation done, surely you don't have the whole show done. Like, maybe he's talking about a few bits of animation to pitch to Warner Brothers, and maybe that's just like a example of the style that they would like to go for, because obviously in animation you can make various styles that are quite different from each other, and so maybe they've already picked the style that they want, and that's why they got the poster and everything to kind of create a solid image of what the show is going to be like, and the tone and everything like that, but also how it's going to continue the world of Smallville, but just in animated form. So I don't think there is much more than that has probably gone on, because if you've animated the whole show before it's even greenlit, that's kind of insane. Like, that would cost a lot of their own money, so I don't believe that's what he actually means here. Now let's move on to the next bit. Welling says he wouldn't address how a Smallville sequel would deal with the return of Lionel Luthor, who was killed by Lex in season 7. However, the actor stressed that the original Smallville creators want to be involved in bringing the show back. So Tom says, "We want Al and Miles to write it." So it's not been written yet, but they have the outline, I guess. They've expressed interest, but they're also busy working on Wednesday with Tim Burton right now. I think because it's not a big financial game for anybody, it's getting less priority, which I totally understand, and that's why I'm saying I don't think when he says the animation is done, I think they've done a tiny bit, and clearly they're going to have to wait for financial backing and the green light to actually go ahead with this and get everyone on board, because for now I think everyone has expressed desire to be involved, like the showrunners, but they're busy. Obviously you wouldn't just like deny other jobs in the meantime, because right now this has not been officially confirmed, so why would you give this more priority than anything else, despite loving Smallville and despite wanting to come back? So what do Tom Welling's comments mean for the Smallville sequel? This is what Andy said in his article. From what Welling revealed to Screen Rant, the Smallville animated sequel may simply be a project that will take some time before it goes from concept to production, as there have been a lot of regime changes at the studio in the last few years, including the launch of DC Studios. The structure of DC IPs is going through a significant retooling, which may be why a Smallville animated sequel hasn't been greenlit yet. I think that's a very valid point. We have heard that they are interested in doing Elseworlds projects in the DC universe, but for now, that is clearly not their priority, and Smallville would fit into that. And you've seen Superman Lois End, which obviously is very convenient for DC Studios, because they're going to have like a clean slate with no other TV shows or any other projects going on at the same time with the same characters. And so once DC Studios truly gets into their era, a Smallville sequel show alongside James Gunn's DC Universe could easily be more possible, and I completely agree with Andy here. And it also appears that perhaps the Smallville Season 11 comic may not be what gets used for the animated sequel, when Screen Rant asked if Welling has ever checked out the comic series that continue the Smallville universe after its end in 2011, and if he ever finds it weird seeing him in comic form, he said this: "No, never read it. I've signed some, but I've never opened it. It is for a second, and then I'm talking to the next person. You think that I would read them all, but I really don't have one to read. There are moments where I'm like, oh, I should read that, and then I kind of forget." So there is no emphasis on him. He doesn't feel like he's ever had to read it, which is fair enough. Like, actors don't have to be super involved, but he's clearly very involved in Smallville and with the fandom. So it is what it is. He doesn't have to read it. But if he wants to continue doing this, obviously that is super exciting for us Smallville fans. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Obviously this has been a big update in regards to what's going on, because we haven't had an update in a couple of months. And I will be keeping you guys up to date when we hear more to do with this show, because I'm very intrigued. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, and also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. But for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.